Jim Stinson. I started as the operational manager in 1994 and served in that capacity for about 5 years, promoted to general manager, and then retired in October of 2023 as general manager. And the relationship was created through interlocal agreements with the MUDs and the Woodlands division of SJRA. Those agreements have stood the test of time with very few modifications. As new MUDs were created, they would be brought in and added to the interlocal agreements. We would have to jointly plan for growth, plan for population increases, residential increases, commercial and industrial increases, retail increases in population. So it was a partnership over many years to provide the infrastructure for this community.
My name is Eric Peterson. I started as general manager in February of 2023. We work on a day in, day out basis with Ed Shackelford and the operations group at SJRA. We have a great relationship. We work together to make sure that the water infrastructure, the wastewater infrastructure is reliable for the customers of the Woodlands. We have some challenges that we'll be working on over the next decade, and we look forward to looking at all the water and sewer infrastructure as we renew those in the next decade. SJRA operates and maintains the water plant infrastructure, the wastewater treatment plant infrastructure, large diameter transmission lines within the Woodlands. That would be the wholesale side of the system, or the wholesale. They are the wholesale provider. The MUDs and WWA manage what we call the retail side of things. So we would do the billing, the metering, and the billing of the water that goes to the customers on the retail side.
It's a unique relationship. As we mentioned earlier, the SJRA Woodlands Division is the wholesale provider. We're the retail. It goes back to the vision of the original developer, having this vision to create a water and wastewater infrastructure in the middle of 25,000 acres of raw land. I mean, that was a risky vision, but the vision to have the SJRA created into a regional wholesale water division other than just a Lake Conroe division was a brilliant idea. Then the idea to create a series of MUDs that evolved over the years of development, one MUD, then another MUD, as the need grew, was quite a relationship and quite a success story, in my opinion.
One of the unique aspects of how the Woodlands was set up was that SJRA as the wholesale provider, what that really did was it allowed the Woodlands to develop over time to create consistent facilities. So in the MUD world in Texas, MUDs would generally build their own water plant or wastewater treatment plant, and so each one would have their own of such. The beauty of George Mitchell's vision is, he probably didn't know how many MUDs there were going to end up being in the 28,000 acres, but creating the wholesale provider, partnering with SJRA, created the opportunity that the system was going to build as a whole, as a true master plan. And so instead of, for instance, I tell this example from time to time, the average water district in Texas is about 600 acres or so. And so the Woodlands is 28,000 acres. If you were to just, round that to 1,000, you'd have 28 MUDs, and each of those 28 MUDs would likely have probably 2 water plants, its own wastewater treatment plant. So that'd be 60 water plants, 30 or 40 sewer treatment plants, and the Woodlands has 5 water plants and 3 sewer plants. And so the efficiency with which the Woodlands developed to not have so many extra facilities has saved the community probably hundreds of millions over the years.
The redundancy and the efficiency is having the San Jacinto River Authority as the wholesale provider, where it's a fully interconnected system between the MUDs. The individual MUDs do not have their own water plants, their own sewer plants. It's fully interconnected, fully redundant, and fully efficient. What comes to my mind is the need to implement surface water to supplement the groundwater supply. We were in a period of high growth. Water wells were declining. This River Authority, was spending millions of dollars every year chasing that declining water level throughout the Woodlands. It became clear that it was time to implement and supplement the groundwater system with surface water. And that wasn't only happening here in the Woodlands, it was throughout the highly populated areas in Montgomery County. So with the San Jacinto River Authority, with the Woodlands Division, with the MUDs and other water professionals in Montgomery County, the surface water delivery system at Lake Conroe was constructed and implemented.
I think we're right at a pivotal moment right now, which is looking at the future. Obviously, we're 50 years old, and our infrastructure is turning 50 as well, or much of it is. And so we're really going to need to look at what is going to need to be done to the infrastructure to ensure that we have the same reliability and same resources that we've had for the previous 50 years. And we're going to need to do that in an efficient fashion. We're going to need to make sure that the community is involved. There's probably going to be some fairly expensive ticket items over the next decade. And so we're going to have to work with the community, SJRA and WWA as a team, to work with the community to make sure that we can ensure that reliability for the next generation.
I think it's clearly infrastructure renewal. As we approach 50 years and beyond, much of the system is approaching or has reached its service life. We're looking at upwards of $100 million in rehab and rehabilitation of the infrastructure. The challenge is going to be how we phase in that renewal and how we control the retail cost to the customer with that phasing in and covering those costs over the next several years.
Most definitely it's going to be infrastructure renewal. We have aging infrastructure on the water side and the sewer side. We have aging water plants and wastewater treatment plants. So we're going to be looking at, over the next decade, ways to address that aging infrastructure. So that could include full rehabilitation of plants. That could be relining or relaying piping underground. And so what we're going to need to do is work with the community as a team, SJRA and WWA and the water districts, in order to find the best route to tackle those challenges. So we can't do it all at once. There's going to be, a phasing of things over the next decade, and so we're going to need to work as a team to kind of identify what that path forward should be. I think we should celebrate the last 50 years, celebrate the amazement that the Woodlands is. This is a unique place. I think it's been listed as the best place to live in America a few times over the years, and certainly those that have experienced it can understand that. I think in order for us to continue that and ensure that that continues over the next 50 years, we need to do the things to renew the community, to renew the infrastructure, working as a team with SJRA, the township, and others to ensure that what we've experienced in the previous 50 years, we can experience the next 50 years.
I think the message is success. I think looking back, this community was a risk. Again, building something in 25 to 28,000 acres in raw timberland was a challenge, and it's been a success by every measure. We have withstood freezes, hurricanes, floods, and other storms with minimal disruption to service in our community, where others have experienced vast interruptions of service. So I think without a doubt it's success.
I think this is an exciting time for the Woodlands. We've been very successful over the first 50 years. I think we have an opportunity to look at renewal and put ourselves in position to have a great next 50 years. So I think working with SJRA, the water districts, the township, and WWA, working as a team, we can get there and be successful. The Woodlands and its 28,000 acres is mostly developed. There's maybe a few hundred acres left to develop, and it's kind of scattered throughout the woodlands. I really see the woodlands growing in terms of a lot of redevelopment. We're already seeing that in certain of the commercial areas. We're seeing that even in some of the residential areas with home teardowns and rebuilds. We're seeing just recently the community center here in the Woodlands area was relocated, and so various facilities that we've seen over the years are going to be redeveloped in the future.
When I arrived in 1994, we had one wastewater treatment plant down on Sawdust Road for the Woodlands on the west side of I-45. There was a small plant on the east side of I-45 serving the industrial commercial area out there. As the population grew, the commercial base grew, the retail base grew, we created wastewater plant 2 off of Research Forest Drive. And then water wells. We were drilling new water wells every 2 or 3 years, up to over 30 wells currently in the Woodlands. So it was a huge growth of infrastructure. The population was less than 50,000 when I arrived, and it was well over 100,000 today. I think the interesting topic is to go back and look at the original SJRE Lake Conroe division. That served as a just to operate the dam, operate the raw water sales and delivery along the San Jacinto River Authority. But the vision, George Mitchell, his legal team and engineering team had the vision to modify the responsibility into a San Jacinto River Authority Woodlands division that would provide wholesale water, wastewater, and eventually drainage services. That was a unique vision, unique in my knowledge to any other development in this area or around the U.S. Very unique and very successful how it evolved. As the Woodlands grew, the infrastructure that was needed to serve the growing population through the San Jacinto River Authority Woodlands Division and the MUDs each had to expand their facilities, and they had to do that as a partnership and in coordination with each other. And of course, the MUDs funded all of the infrastructure that the San Jacinto River Authority Woodlands Division installed. So we would have to coordinate our budgets, our rates, and our tax rates to make sure that funding was available to pay for that through the Woodlands Division of the San Jacinto River Authority.
So the story that I've heard is that George Mitchell did not want to be in the water business. He wanted to focus on developing the woodlands. But he also knew that water was going to be critical to the overall success of the woodlands. So he partnered with SJRA and to create the Woodlands Division of SJRA. And in doing so, what that did was helped create consistency across what would be the many MUDs that were developed. So likely he didn't know how many MUDs there would be, but in order to ensure consistency across the entire 28,000 acres, having one entity to be overseeing of the infrastructure created that reliability, created that consistency with the system so that one particular MUD wouldn't go off and do its own thing over the years. So I think that was a critical moment for the woodlands.